good morning. So find a comfortable seat. So you're rooted in your sit bones, lengthen through your spine. So if you could imagine in between your sit bones, right in the center mass of your body, try and level yourself between that, and then between your pubic bone and your tailbone, the center mass between those 2 points. So you have this middle area through the center mass of your body. And imagine that that lengthens all the way through the crown of your head. So you're nice and tall. You can either imagine zipping up your low abs from hip bone to hip bone, or you can imagine zipping them up from pubic bone to right underneath your, right around your belly button area. Another way to think of it is you're lifting off of you're lifting your pelvic floor off of your thighs. Just 3 different ways of looking at the exact same concept. Soften your eyes. You can either look at the floor or you can close them. Hands in your lap. Imagine that marionette string out of the crown of your head, slightly drawing and lifting you upwards. Keeping the curvature of your spine. Settle into your breath. Just observe inhales and exhales. Feeling it move through your body in a natural fashion, not forcing it, not controlling it. Maybe you find yourself trying not to control it once you start to think about it. And then make your breath a little bit deeper. We're going to follow the elevator analogy today. So if you think about at your inhale, the elevator is coming from your pelvic floor and lifting through the crown of your head, coming all the way up your spine. And as you exhale, the elevator is slowly descending down into your sit bones. Inhale, elevator lifts the crown, fills air. Exhaling and allowing the elevator of energy to release down to the tailbone. You can imagine it as an actual elevator shaft, or you can imagine it as a ball of light and energy ascending and descending down the column of your spine. Try and make your breath the same length as inhale as exhale. Just taking a moment to ground, to center, to bring your focus inward. I want you to drop your head forward. Imagine that the tip of your nose is touching the top of the bar area or something tall, just barely touching it. And just swipe your nose left and right. Sweeping it across the top of that countertop. Go nice and slow and feel the muscular structure respond in the back of your neck. And like a pendulum, I slowly want you to start to increase the length of your swings from side to side. Tip of your nose is the pendulum. As you get bigger and bigger, pause with your right ear facing down as if you're laying your head on that countertop or on a soft pillow. Lengthening from your lowest neck vertebrae through the crown of your head so you're not crunching in through your neck. And slowly let that pendulum come back down to center. Make them small. Side to side. Begin to increase the lengths of the pendulum swing. Until they're big enough that you can turn your head to the right and have your left ear on your counter, pillow, whatever you imagine. Still long in your neck. Take a breath. Slowly let the pendulum slide back down, making your little tiny swings side to side. Make them smaller and smaller to where you just barely feel any movement. And then bring to stillness. Tuck into your throat, so squeeze your chin into your throat, stretching a little more through the neck. Keep it squeezed in and slowly raise up like you're trying to hold an apple in between your chin and your throat. It comes up through center, lengthen your chin to the ceiling. Imagine your cord now, your marionette string is under your chin and it's drawing you upward. You feel a little lift from your body lifting off your thighs. Now jut that chin forward and down like you're scooping like a backhoe. Scoop it out. Scoop it into your throat, making that double chin come back up through center, up to the ceiling. Keep it fluid motion, scoop forward, down, and in. Squeezing in, rolling up. You're going to roll right to center and relax. Breathe for a moment. We're going to do the same motion the opposite direction. So it's like scooping snow, shoveling snow. We're going to scoop down and forward. So start with drawing your head space back and then drop your chin and it curls down into your throat. And then scoop down and forward, out and up, all the way to the ceiling. Keep your body rigid. This is just in the neck. Take your head back in space and start rolling it down. Down as far as you can go and then scoop down, forward, out, up. Body does not move. This is just neck. Chin comes up. Start to come down and back in space at the same time. Pause at center. Turn your head to the right. Breathe into the left side of your neck. Take your left hand, palm facing forward, elbow down in a relaxed position. And I want you to inhale, reach the palm up, your arms out to the side, fingertips towards ceiling. Exhale, bring it back down, lead with the elbow, keep the palm wide. And again, up, deep breath. Exhale down. So your thumb is right next to your shoulder, elbow is on the outside of your body. Fingers in jazz hands. Straighten your arm to the left side, parallel with the floor. Feel the stretch down your arm, shoulder, neck. Stay long in your spine. Abs are zipped. Slowly, and I mean annoyingly slow, start to lower that arm, leading with the pinky. Feeling the stretch move through your neck, shoulder, arm, fingers. Till it's all the way down by your side. And once it's down by your side, relax, shake out that arm. Slowly draw your head back to face forward. Put your hand back in your lap. Just take a moment to observe the feeling, the differences between the left and the right. The arm from fingertips to right up underneath your ear on both sides. Feel how they feel different. One feels lighter, one feels heavier. One may feel more energized, one may feel more sluggish. And repeating to the other side. Turn to the left. As far as you can comfortably, take a few breaths into the neck. All through the crown. Lifting your right hand off of your lap, palm facing forward and wide fingers. Opening the arm out to the side slightly, elbow is down. Inhale, fingers start to shoot up. Exhale, bend the elbow, slide the arm back down. Another breath up. And back down on your exhale. Relax for a moment. Still in the jazz hand, palm facing forward. You're going to straighten your arm out to the right, parallel with the floor, wide fingers. Feel this change in the stretch, the muscles being utilized. Stay tall in your spine. And ever so annoyingly slow, start to lower that arm down, leading through the pinky. Elbow is soft. Fingers are active. All the way down. Once you feel the arm touching your hip, you can relax and you can shake it out. Fingers, arm. Slowly begin to bring your head back to center. Return your hand to your lap. Take a moment to adjust any laxities that you have with your spine, realigning shoulders over hips, knees over ankles. We're going to do some fluid cat-cow postures. So it's not the normal just arching your back and rounding your back. We're going to move through like a wave. So I want you to round your shoulders and drop your head as you start to roll forward. And then when you get your head is kind of over your knees, lift your head up, arch your back, and roll yourself back. Once your shoulders are over your hips, start to round your back, dip your head. So you're doing this wave motion forward, up, back, and then start to round, forward, up, back, creating space in the front of your vertebrae, in the backs of your vertebrae, rounding way over before you start to come forward, and then arching through your spine. Keep your belly pulled in to protect your back. Round forward. If you want to work on your breath with this, it's an inhale when you're open in the chest. And it's an exhale when you round forward. Inhaling, opening up. Exhale, round forward. Nice and slow. Don't overarch. If you have any back pain, then limit your arch. You can go to straight flat back if you need to. If arching is bothering your back at all. On your last inhale to come up, I want you to stay flat back and just bring your shoulders back up over your hips, zipping your abs up. I want you to do little tiny twists. I want you to imagine that your belly button is remaining pointing directly forward. So when you're twisting, your belly button's not going off to the side. You're just twisting upper body, like you're doing a shoulder shimmy, but a big one. I want you to pause at the right side, opening up your right shoulder as far as you can to the right side, and then focus on getting that belly button pointed back forward if it rotated with you. So it's much smaller of a twist. We're focusing on upper back twist and not lower back. You can keep your head in a neutral position, or you can turn and look over your right shoulder. Take a deep breath, lengthen through crown. Exhale and slowly come back to center, and then do your big shoulder shimmy. Side to side with your shoulders, belly button stays facing forward. And then pause on the left side. Go as far as you can to the left, and then focus on bringing that belly button back forward if it moved. By doing that, you're engaging your abdomen and you're not just letting it relax into it. And also, L4-5 area is the most flexible unless you're fused or had surgery in that area. That's the most flexible. That's why we have the most problems there. You can keep your head at neutral or turn back. Breathe into the stretch. Deep breath, lengthen through crown. On your exhale, start to come back. Roll your shoulders around a little bit. We're going to create some space on the sides of our vertebrae. So we're going to be leaning to the side. So let's see. What I want to do. I'm very indecisive today. So we're not going to use a strap. I was going to use a strap. I changed my mind. So you can keep your feet like they are, or you can open them a little bit wider since we're going to lean to the side so you feel like you have more stability. It's completely up to you. If the closer your feet are, the more ab work you're going to do. So if you want to have more stability rooted in your feet, then you won't use as much ab, all right? So lengthen up nice and tall. We're going to start with our right arm. Fingers palm facing forward, jazz hands again. Inhale up, lengthen, and then lean over slightly. Try and keep your right butt bone on the chair. If you need to use the left hand to help support, holding on to the side of your chair, on your hip. If you have your knees open and you want to put it out there on your knee, you can. I want you to bring that right shoulder up near your right ear and root the right sit bone down. So you feel long on the right side of your body, but don't feel crunched on the left side. So stay tall. I bet you think I'm going to hold it forever. One more breath. On your exhale, slowly start to stack your spine. Low back, mid back, upper back, head starts to come on top, and then float your arm out and down. A little more stretch in the shoulder, all the way down. And relax, hand back in your lap. Feel the difference in your left and right side, the muscles in the belly, side, the back, the arm, shoulder. And we're going to do left side. So lengthen tall. Hand in jazz hand, palm facing forward. Inhale, reach up, straight up. Lengthen the shoulder up towards the ear and then start to lean right. Both sit bones are equally pressed into the chair. Your arm is next to your ear or slightly behind. Your shoulders lifted up towards your ear, so you're creating space in your shoulder girdle, as well as from your lowest rib to your hip bone. You're opening up your vertebrae on the sides, creating some space. Try not to crunch in on the right side, so lengthen up if you need to. Root your sit bones. They should be equal. You shouldn't be pressing more into the left than the right. One more breath. As you exhale, slowly start to stack your spine. Low back, mid back, upper back. Head comes on top, arm comes overhead, and you slowly opening it out to the side and letting it float all the way down. And relax. You can roll your shoulders, you can shake out your arms, you can twist, intuitive movement, whatever your body feels like it wants to do. Do a couple of moving arounds. We're going to stand up and do our balance. So today we're going to put our foot, we're going to stand on one leg and put our foot on our chair, footstool, whatever you happen to be using. So turn the chair so that the back is to one side so that you have something to hold on to if standing on one foot is not your most graceful posture. Okay? So my suggestion is like so. I'm going to take off my slippers because they are not. And my head is kind of cut off, so I'm going to fix it. All right. Beautiful. All right, so standing behind your chair, you have something to hang on to if you need it. You're going to take your right foot up on the chair. You want to stand far enough away from the chair so that your foot isn't way hanging off. Your foot is kind of centered, but you still can reach the back if you need to for support. If you're using a footstool, you can drag it next to a countertop. You can use a countertop. So I want to have your left foot right underneath your hip. So don't do the mama hip and sit into it. And you want your right foot straight out from your hip. So both legs are hip width apart. Right toes are up. Right knee is soft, but it's not locked into the joint. So you want a little micro bend. And I want you to lengthen through the crown of your head. So imagine pulling your pelvic floor off of your thigh bones. Hold on if you need to for support. The arm that's not holding on, I want you to put your index finger right in where the crease of your hip bone would be if you were to bend. Tall spine. Imagine taking your butt back in space and your chest forward. Flat back. Don't lock out your knee. Keep your toes up. Feel the stretch in the back of the leg. Active knee. Breathe. Wiggle your toes. Make sure they're relaxed. And I want you to take your right hand down your shin and without rounding your back, keep your back flat. I want you to measure how far you can reach. Just a little measurement. Remember where that spot is. You're nice and tall in your spine, and then slowly let your hand glide up as you stand up. If you want to take a break with that leg and take it off, stomp it out. We're going to do the right leg again. So take a break, walk it out, march it out, whatever feels good. Shake it out. Maybe shaking it out feels good. And then ready yourself to put your right leg right back up there. Hip width apart, toes towards the ceiling. Knee is active, so your thighs are active. You have a little micro bend. You don't want to let it relax and sit into your joint. That's where you can get joint issues from yoga. Yes, you can injure yourself in yoga. Toes up, right hand in your hip joint. Lengthen through your crown and fold forward, flat back. Wiggle your toes, keep them relaxed. Keep your knee active. Lengthen from your tailbone to your crown. You can slide that right hand down your shin. Find that spot. Did you surpass it a little bit? It's always better the second time. That's our motto, right? Now you can stay here and breathe and relax and focus on the posture, focus on your breath, or you can round your shoulders forward, drop your head a little bit, reach your arm further down your leg. That's optional. You don't have to do that. You can bend a little bit into your left knee if you want to. Increase a little more stretch in the back of that leg. Draw your belly button into your spine, back. And then where everybody's going to slowly roll up to flat back, stacking one vertebrae at a time, bringing yourself all the way back up. Release your leg, switch sides. March it out first, shake it out, whatever feels good before you switch sides. You can flip your chair around the other direction if it makes more sense to you to do it that way. It's totally up to you so that you have your, the correct hand to go down your shin. It really doesn't matter which one you use, but if you want to flip it around or walk around to the other side, that's fine. Toes up, active in your knee, lengthen through your crown, feet are hip width apart. Hand one, at least one hand in the crook of your hip and bend forward. Flat back, lengthen from tailbone to crown. Draw your belly in, protect your back. Just a tiny zip up of your abs. It's not, we're not pulling in so tight we're trying to get on a pair of jeans that are one size too small. We're just pulling it in a little bit. I'm going to take that hand and slide it down your shin. Find your beginning spot without rounding your back. Slowly come back up. You can release that leg because we're going to do it again, remember? This is a part of our balance in addition to the stretching of our leg. When you're ready, left foot comes back up. Legs hip width apart. Toes up. Both knees on your body. Both knees are soft. Are activate. You have a little, they're soft, but you have a little micro bend in both knees. Neither knee needs to be locked out. Hand in the crook of your seam of your hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, flat back, fold forward. Long from tailbone to crown. Micro bend in both knees. Zip of the abs, either from hip to hip or from pubic bone to belly button. Whichever makes more sense to you. Slide your hand down your shin. See if you've gone a tiny bit further. You can either stay here and breathe, focus on your breath, or you can round your shoulders forward, drawing your belly into your abs. Drop your head, lengthen your arm down further. You can bend a little more in your right knee if you want to for a little more stretch. Hold the belly button into your spine, protect your back. And then everybody start to stack your spine all the way up. Nice and slow. Find a focal point, keep your balance. All the way up, release your leg. Woo! Shake it out, good stuff. Stomp it out, shake it out, whatever feels good. All righty, we are going to make our way to the floor. So you can move your chair out of the way if you want, if you need it to get to the floor. We are going to be on our back. We are going to do some figure 4, stretching out our hips. So if you have a strap or a dog leash or belt, I'm going to make sure you can see my mat. Perfecto. Alrighty. I'm not warm, but it's kind of in my way. All right. Roll yourself onto your mat. You can either draw your knees up and do a little roll side to side around in circles, or you can put your feet on the floor and you can flop your knees like windshield wipers back and forth. Whichever you would rather do, whichever feels better on both your back and your hip joint. Before we get started, give you a few minutes to get to the floor. All right, for the figure 4 posture, I want you to take your strap apparatus, whatever you're using, and I want you to lasso your left foot. So put the strap, dog leash, whatever, in the arch of your left foot. I want you to take your right foot and put your ankle over your left thigh. So it's like an upside down number 4. You actually want your ankle to be hanging off of the thigh bone slightly, so you're not putting pressure on that ankle joint. You want your right foot to be gently flexed, so it's flat, but you're not forcing a strong flex, as if you're just setting it up against the wall. Your right knee is out to the right side. You have your strap apparatus in either hand, and you have your arms extended out at a comfortable distance with your shoulders still on the mat. Your left foot is in the air. Take a deep breath, fill up your lungs. And as you exhale, draw your elbows up towards your ears, thus drawing in your left leg, thus drawing in your right leg. Getting a good stretch in the inner, outer right thigh, into the right butt, glute, maybe a little back. Take a few breaths. I want you to hold for 3 nice big breaths. As you finish your 3rd breath, I want you to roll your hips to the left just enough to feel that stretch move into the piriformis. It moves deeper into your butt. A little tiny piriformis muscle that runs from the outside of your hip deep into the sacrum, causes all kinds of issues, easy to get angry. I think the piriformis is like the chihuahua of the body. It's always angry, it's always barking. Gently roll your hips back. Relax, switch your feet in the air. Right foot is gonna go on the strap. Left ankle is gonna hang off of the right femur slightly. Left knee goes out, left foot softly flexed. Arms are extended, but shoulder blades are on the mat. Hand strap in either hand. Take a deep breath. Exhale, draw elbows up as you draw leg in. Breathing into your hip, inner and outer thigh. Lengthen through the crown. Nice big 3 breaths. If If you've ever heard the pigeon pose of yoga, this is a modified pigeon. At the end of your third breath, start to roll your hips to the right slightly just to feel that stretch move deeper in to the glute, into the piriformis. This is a modified pigeon. Pigeon can be a hard pose on your ankles, on your knees, on your hips, on your bounce, on your back. This keeps everything supported and stretches the right places. Breathe into your little chihuahua muscle. Slowly start to roll back and relax your grip, release your feet. Keep your knees drawn in, roll around a little bit. Uncross your feet if you happen to cross them. We're going to go between cannonball if you've been in a pool, cannonball and what's that other one called? Not jackknife? It's jackknife, I think. You'll have to tell me later. I can't remember. All right, deep breath. Exhale, draw your head up, knees in, cannonball. Push the air out. As you inhale, straighten the right leg out. This is the jackknife, I think it's called. Or can opener, maybe it's can opener. Exhale, draw back into cannonball. Head comes up, squeeze all the air out. As you open back up, inhale, straighten only the left leg. Deep breath. Exhale, cannonball. We're gonna do one more on each side. Inhale, open right leg. Exhale, cannonball. Inhale, open left leg. Exhale, cannonball. And as you open back up, go ahead and put both feet on the floor. Hip width apart, comfortable distance from your glutes. Make sure your hips and shoulders are lined up. And I want you to do little arch and contracting of your spine, pressure back into the floor, then lift your back off the floor, pushing your belly towards the ceiling. When you push your belly towards the ceiling, I want you to use your belly muscles, not your back muscles. Just tilting your hips forward and back and creating an arch in your back and a flattening of the back. And then I want you to relax in a neutral spine. Neutral spine usually means that your low back is slightly off of the mat. I want you to squeeze through your glute muscles and root your soles of your feet into the floor. I want you to imagine that you're pulling your pelvic floor off of your thigh bone. So you're engaging in your abs slightly, creating space in your hips. And I want you to imagine you have a little ball between your knees, like a little kid's ball, a little squishy ball. And you're holding onto that ball with your knees so they stay hip width apart. Engage through the glutes, rooted through the feet. Imagine energy goes from your hips, shooting out your knees at that angle. Arms can be at your side, palms down, pressing into your shoulders. And I want you to lift the weight off of your hip bones and then put it right back down. Keep everything engaged. Lift the weight up, pushing through the soles of the feet and right back down. Everything's engaged, belly's engaged, lift. Your skin is probably still touching, you're just lifting the weight and down. Lift a tiny bit higher and down, keep it engaged. Lift, tiny bit higher and down. One more time, lift and hold. Lift as high as you feel comfortable lifting, keeping everything lined up, not overly arching your back. Draw your belly in so you don't arch your back. Pressing through the heels, soles of your feet, holding that ball with your knees. You can slowly rise until you start to feel your back overarch and then pause. Breathe Squeeze. One vertebrae down at a time, like you're putting pearls on a desktop, one pearl at a time. Slowly lowering one vertebrae all the way down until you feel your sacrum, your low back touch the floor. Relax glutes, thighs, feet. Walk your feet to the outside edges of your mat and flop side to side. Just flop your knees side to side. Play with different variations. Your knees can move in tandem at the same rate of speed, same distance apart, or you can have one leg open and then close the other, and then switch to open and then close. Whatever feels good in your hip joint, in your back, in your knees. This is a restorative exercise to release some tension in your back. And then to make this restorative exercise more active, we're going to take both knees over to the right. If you feel a pull in your low back, put something underneath your outer right thigh between you and the floor. Roll up on the outside edges of your feet. Keep your shoulder blades on the floor. Just let gravity relax the legs for a moment. If you need support under that right thigh, please use it. I don't want you to over pull your back. Squeeze your left glute, the one on top, and push your left hip forward in space. Relax the right leg because it always tries to help. You can flex your feet if you need to for knee support. Breathe. Feel the stretch and stretch on your front of your thigh into your hip flexor, into your low belly. Try not to overarch your back by drawing the belly into the spine. This is a front side stretch, not a back side stretch. Relax your glutes. Draw your abs in a little tighter to help lift your knees and flop side to side. And both knees go over to the left. Use support underneath that left thigh if you need to. If you feel your back being pulled, rolling up on the outside edges of your feet. Release the gravity into your legs. Let them release down. Support them if need be. Squeeze your left glute this time, pressing your hip forward. Relax the left leg. Our right glute, press right hip. Flex the foot if you need to, if your knee is talking to you at all. Draw the belly button into the spine a little bit more to protect the back. You should be feeling this on the front side of your body, not the back side. Really relax that left leg anytime it tries to help. Breathe. Release the right glute. Draw the belly in a little bit more as you start to lift the legs and flop it out. Gently draw one knee at a time into your chest. Do a little roll. Do some intuitive movement. Maybe you want to straighten and release your knees. If you want to roll, maybe you just want to sit still with your hands on your knees. Whatever feels good at the moment. Now we're ready ourselves for savasana. So you have a couple of choices. You can lay with your legs out straight. You can put your feet out down on the floor, walk them to the outside edges and rest your knees together so that you don't have to focus on them. They can relax. You can put your legs on a chair, on a couch, on a footstool, so that you keep your back in slight traction. Any of those options are perfectly fine. I sit up so that you can hear me better. Shavasana has a tendency to make my voice go quieter. So find a comfortable position, get a blanket if you need to stay warm. Cover your eyes with something. Blocking out the extra light in the room helps to bring your focus inward, helps you to relax a little bit more. Put on a jacket if you want to. Have a good 8 to 10 minutes. Don't worry, I won't leave you with too much silence. So find your position, bring yourself to stillness. Arms can be at your side, palms up, or you can rest your hands on your belly or your hips or put them in your pockets for warmth if you need to, if that feels more comfortable. You can always take Shavasana, take you in your little phone, laptop, whatever you're using to your bed, and you can always do Shavasana on bed. Find your position and then find your breath. Now we use the analogy of an elevator at the beginning of class. Since we're lying down, we're going to use the analogy of one of those moving sidewalks. As you inhale, the energy moves to the crown of your head. And as you exhale, it moves down to your tailbone. You can imagine that motion in that crown to tailbone, that moving sidewalk analogy, or you can imagine that ball of light traveling from crown to tailbone. Imagine it moving along your spine. Each inhale to crown, each exhale to tailbone. If you remember the children's programs where they have the bouncing ball, follow the letters as they sing the song. You can imagine the bouncing ball bouncing down your spine, up and down your spine. And if you could do something to create 10% more relaxed state or comfiness. If you have to move one more thing or add another blanket or a pillow. Lengthen your breath a little bit more. Maybe you go to a count of 5 or 6. Having your inhale and exhale have the exact same length. Practice slowing them down or speeding them up. Relaxing through your forehead. Imagine the point right between your eyebrows. Just melting out the wrinkles. Imagine space between your eyebrows opening up further into your temples. Releasing that space up over the crown of your head and into the floor. Your jaw is relaxed, creating a little bit of space in the jaw joint, right in front of your ears. The back of your neck is relaxed, yet you have space between each vertebrae. Throat is relaxed. You feel the air flowing over your vocal cords. Tops of your shoulders are relaxed, up over your chest. And you feel it relaxed into your shoulder blades and melting into the floor. Relax your arms from the shoulder to the fingertips. Observe how your fingers are softly curled when they're relaxed. They're not bored straight. They don't have the exact same distance between each finger. They're not all at the exact same curl. Some are a little straighter than others. Some are touching, some are not. Feel the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe. Feel the rise and fall of your belly as you breathe. Feel the movement of the diaphragm down through your organs as you inhale, creating space for the lungs. And feel the diaphragm draw up underneath your rib cage as you exhale. Feel your glutes pancaked on the floor, completely relaxed. Feel from the hips down to the toes, your legs released, your knees soft. Feel the space between your toes. Feel the skin on the soles of your feet. Feel the back half of your body melting into the floor. Feel each pressure point. Starting at the crown of your head, I want you to go down your back and be aware of each pressure point. The back of your head, shoulder blades, hips. And then when you get to the soles of your feet, I want you to start at the tip of your toes, all the way up the front of your body, and feel light as a feather. The knees, the hips are open. The breath has space. The throat has space. The eyes are soft. Feel the draw to the earth and the draw to the heavens. Feel your breath in your lungs. Taking the focus from our body, we're going to paint ourselves a picture in our mind. I want you to imagine yourself standing on the beach, whatever beach you want, whatever beach you have a clear image of, a clear picture that you can paint. I want you to imagine that you're looking out over the water. The skies are blue. There's supposed to be clouds in the sky. You can see at the horizon where the water and the sky meet. You can see the gentle ripples on the water, the sun glinting off. And you feel your heart beat with the waves as they gently lap at your feet, ebbing and flowing, repositioning the sand. You feel the sun on your face. You smell the salt air. You hear the sounds of the birds call. You feel peace in your heart. And every day, take moments to paint a picture of where you're at to remember for later. These are your moments of taking yourself to your happy place, as people call it. This is one of our happy places. Fill in colors, shapes, sounds, feelings. What does your heart feel when you're at the beach? Drinking in the warm sun, I want you to close your eyes to the sun, to your vision, and imagine that warm sun on your face. Imagine your face lifting towards the sun like a flower. Taking a nice deep breath. As you exhale, exhale yourself back into your body on the floor, becoming re-aware of those pressure points, becoming aware of the heaviness of the back and the lightness of the front. Becoming aware of the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands, the space between the fingers and the toes, the space between the brows, the space between each hip bone, and the breath in your lungs. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers and toes, creating some movement. Roll your wrists and ankles, bend and straighten your elbows and knees. Shrug your shoulders, squeeze and release your glutes, tuck and contract your hips, tilting them back and forth. Turn your head side to side. Create movement in every joint that you can find, even if it's a tiny bit. Motion is lotion for the joints. The more movement that happens, the more lubrication your body sends to that area. Move it around. When you're ready, draw one knee at a time into your chest. You could just hold it there for a moment, or you can roll. Totally up to you. And when you're ready, roll over onto your side, stacking your shoulders, your hips, and your knees. Take a couple of breaths here. Let gravity transition from the back body to the side body. Let your equilibrium settle. Take a moment today to paint a picture. When you find yourself in a position or a circumstance where it's enjoyable and you can paint that picture, imagine taking a photograph so you can use it later for a happy place. Gently peel yourself up off the floor, bringing yourself to a seated posture. You can have crossed legs or you can have your legs out in front. I'd like you to sit up as tall as you can, even if you have to sit on something to help you sit tall. Lengthening from tailbone to crown, shoulders over hips. Just drop your head forward as if you fell asleep, just letting it drop. Take a breath. Roll to the right, bringing the right ear to the right shoulder, lifting the chin slightly. Breathe. Tuck chin and come back to center. Roll to the left, bringing the left ear over the left shoulder. Lift the chin slightly, get a little more right side stretch. Tuck chin and roll back to center. Slowly bring your head up. Turn your head to the right as far as you can without engaging the shoulders. Chin towards shoulder, lowering the chin. Lift the nose to the ceiling. Back to neutral, turn head left. Chin towards shoulder, nose towards ceiling. Back to neutral and come face forward. Using your arms for breath. Inhale, arms come up, gather that air, lengthen tall. Exhale, push that air down. One more breath. Inhale up, Lengthen tall, reach up, hands come together. Exhale, bring the hands down in front of your chest. Flutter your eyes open, bring yourself to your space. Take one more breath. And namaste.